What's up, guys? Today, of course, I'm going to be discussing the assault submachine gun in Battlefield 1 called the Hellriegel 1915 Factory. There's only one variant of this weapon, it's, well, the Factory, and it offers faster recoil reset within breaks of firing, so you won't have to worry about different strengths and weaknesses with two other different variants as usually for the course for all the weapons in Battlefield 1. Also of note, you don't have to worry about single round reloads or strip clip pre-post reloads. How's that for a tongue twister? And as you can basically just reload entire magazines, although it is a bit lengthy, I'll get to that. It also comes with iron sights as the only possible sights. I'll discuss optimum strategies with regard to using this weapon and break down the numbers to give you a much better understanding of the pros and cons. And I'll cover spread and behaviors of recoil with this weapon as well. To get it, you're going to have to be Assault Kit rank 10, and you're going to need 200 war bonds to unlock it. So I'll basically discuss whether the journey is worth to go and get it. Let's take a look at the stats. To start, the Hellriegel 1915 is a submachine gun with a 650 round per minute fire rate, a pretty low 380 meters per second bullet velocity, a 12 meters per second squared gravitational constant, which means you will suffer substantial bullet drop over longer ranges, but you won't have to worry about that because this weapon is just not suited for extreme ranges. The magazine size for this weapon is 60, and you can hold a max of 120 rounds. The damage chart for this actual weapon states that it has a base damage of 23 up to 15 meters away, then it drops down to 13.5 damage at 39 meters and stays that way from 39 meters on. For Battlefield 1, the damage multipliers are 1.7 times for headshots, 1 times for upper body shots, and 0.96 for lower body shots, arms, and legs. So in general, that makes the Hellriegel a 5-shot kill weapon when only hitting body shots inside of 15 meters, and a 3-shot kill when hitting headshots inside of 15 meters. Past that, assuming you aren't hitting headshots, it's going to take a max of 8 shots to kill. But because the damage drop-off is continuous from 15 meters down to 39 meters, and assuming you're probably going to get a headshot or two in there as well as differing range, not just at 39 meters on, which means you will do more damage, it probably means you're going to have probably on average less shots to kill than the max of 8, probably, I don't know, 5 to 6 depending of course on the range and the headshots. So that's just worst case scenario of 8. In terms of recoil, the Hellriegel has, in terms of vertical recoil, 0.28 degrees of recoil, and horizontally, recoil-wise, it has 0.224 degrees both left and right, and note there's no preference on which way it wants to go. Most weapons in the Assault class have a base recoil decrease of 12, but since this is a factory variant and it reduces recoil decrease, the unit recoil decrease here is 8, so pretty good if you're taking break between bursts. We'll now evaluate spread. For every shot fired, the Hellriegel will have an increase in spread of 0.045 degrees, which doesn't sound like much, but with a 60-round magazine it sort of lures you into a false sense of security as it begins to add up quickly over time. This is where the factory variant will help you, as you can take short breaks between bursts to sort of reduce the effects of that spread. When aiming down sights and not moving, you will encounter 0.3 degrees of spread and 0.5 degrees of spread when aiming down the sights and moving. When standing and hip firing, when not moving, you will encounter 1.5 degrees of spread. When standing, hip firing, and moving, you will encounter 2 degrees of spread. So essentially what this means is not very surprising. You'll want to be stationary when shooting and aiming down sights if you want to minimize spread as much as possible when using this weapon. Consider this. When compared to the Automatico Trench, you'll have double the spread when moving and hip firing, even though yes, the Automatico is basically geared for moving around and hip firing. But I think that's just an important distinction to make. To close out the point and sort of even contradict myself a little bit, as you'll see in the background as a sort of perfect illustration of what I'm talking about logistically, despite the stats which tell you that stationary and not moving is the best way to shoot the weapon, you can still have great success firing this weapon in a somewhat close range of about like 10 meters and in. So this weapon is this weapon is a good illustration that stats give you a very logical outcome of what you should be doing, but how skill can sort of negate this because it might not be its absolute best strength compared to, say, the Automatico, but it doesn't mean that you can't use it that way. I hope that came across clearly. In terms of reload speeds, when reloading from empty, it takes 4.5 seconds to reload and 3.7 seconds when there's a round left in the chamber. So the 60 round magazine sort of negates the reason to reload, but it will take a while when you do. So what ranges and situations does this weapon excel? In my opinion, this weapon will excel best in the 10 to 30 meter medium-ish range area. Closer than that, the Automatico with the superior fire rate and shotguns with the much higher damage in very close range will gun you down quite quickly. And longer than that, basically the assault or the rifles of the medic class and snipers will have a distinct advantage. The factory variant means the factory variant sort of suggests to you, again, that you'll want to fire this weapon in bursts to control both spread and recoil. So you'll probably want to try for maybe 5, maybe slightly bursts to excel in medium range. You don't want to try and hold down the trigger at medium range with this weapon, though, despite the 60 round magazine, or you're going to see significant recoil and significant spread begin to build. You can hold down the trigger in short close encounters when hip firing, but close the distance on your opponent to that 15 to 20 meter range as the absolute best way to have success with this weapon. Of note too, with firing in bursts, it has a relatively high first shot recoil multiplier, so engaging at range, even with bursts, and the factory variant at play, you will be at a disadvantage against medics or LMGs. So the big question, what's my rating and would I use it often? It's absolutely one of the better assault weapons in the game because it's a much better MP18 mid-range version, because that was one of the few weapons you could actually use at range consistently. This weapon basically serves as a bridge weapon for that medium range option that the class is basically sorely lacking. But of course it does have weaknesses as well. So in my opinion, it's worth the grind to rank 10 to go get it, even if you're not a collector that likes to collect all the guns. Of course, though, medium range is where you should stay, although you can have success in shorter range. But having said that, again, shotguns and the Automatico will beat you out at close range, and Scout, Medic, and even Support, especially with a bipod, can beat you out at medium to longer range. So I'd have to give the weapon an 8 to like maybe an 8.5 out of 10, knowing that, because it gives you an option that a lot of the other assault weapons don't in sort of bridging that medium range encounter. But at the same time, the slower fire rate, slow muzzle velocity, and the fact that it's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none, and that another weapon, not only in its class, but in other classes, can beat it out at pretty much all ranges, means that it's good but not great. There might be a better weapon that serves you better in close, and a better weapon that serves you better at long. So that's why I can't give it an upper 9 rating. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like, share it around, and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you. Thanks for watching.